Welcome into 11 Personnel presented by Monticello Bank. He's Adam Luckett. I'm Nick Roush. Today we're going to be telling you about our Kentucky football wild cards, breaking down the latest news. The Cats made an additional hire to the front office. But first, before we get to all of that, we got to talk about where we are today. We're at Monticello Bank here at the Beaumont Center. Lovely place. There's books, old books on the library. They've even got one of those ladders that like moves. The Belle, Beauty and the Beast. She likes to ride on one of those. Very nice establishment here at Monticello Bank. There's plenty of locations around the Commonwealth. We're at the one at Beaumont Center. There's also one right down the road, right down Harrisburg Road. If you can't get to them, visit them, nbcbank.com. But you should come to the Beaumont Center location because they are the champions. Monticello Bank, the champions of banking, as we all know. But they're the Keen Trace Cup champions, so we had to bring out the trophy, show off the hardware for everybody. You like that hardware?
I thought it was the Podcast Cup.
Oh, #1 podcasters?
Yeah, I thought that's what we won.
Is there anything?
Did we win the YouTube award?
Oh, the lid doesn't come off. It is very
I
heavy.
wouldn't touch this. Let's just leave the cup alone.
It is a heavy trophy. I don't know if it's an actual trophy for anything, but I can certify that it is a real heavy piece of machinery. Really classes up the joint, which you need whenever the 11 personnel guys get on the road, right? But we're happy to be here at Monticello Bank. If you never checked out one before, checked out the rates. NBCbank.com is where you get them. Monticello Bank, they've been partnering with 11 personnel for, 5 years now, Maria, give or take? I mean, it's, been a very long time. But they've been helping Kentuckians since 1895. Check them out online, nbcbank.com. Proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel, member FDIC, equal housing lender. I got Tristan's out here hanging out. He listened to the Game of Thrones podcast back in the day. That's how you know he's a real one. And also, tuba player in the alumni band. Did you ever play any instruments like it?
I did not. I'm not coordinated enough to play an instrument. Just what do I do here?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a kazoo. I dabbled in harmonica back, you get a little liquid courage back in the day, and you just kind of blow into that thing. So,
My brother had a drum set growing up, and that was an adventure.
Was it like Step Brothers, you couldn't touch his drum set type deal? Or...
Not really that, just... Aaron, shut up. Stop playing the drum set. More so those.
I'm sure the Luckett household was always quiet, and the drums just really made it loud.
Yeah. You know it's bad when the Luckett household, they're telling someone to be quiet. Because everyone's loud there.
Oh, man. That's great. But, hey, we're here to talk football. I know you all watch on the KSR YouTube channel. You're here to listen to us talk football. We've got some news to discuss. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Smash that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Helps out our guy, Peak, all right? We pulled Peak off the street, and he's like, more subs, please. So we need to get him off the street. Click the subscribe button. He needs the subs.
He needs it for his hamstring. If you do not subscribe to the KSR YouTube channel, his hamstring will never get better. So
exactly. Please. We got to get this guy some Icy Hot.
Can't afford it. Needs more subs so we can get some Icy Hot for the hamstring.
Maybe a sub sandwich? What's your favorite sub sandwich?
Like chain, like a restaurant, or like a type of sandwich?
Type of sandwich. Like you're like, this is the ideal sub sandwich for lunch. What are you chowing down on?
I have to say Jersey Mike's Way.
So is that like the Italian?
Turkey and provolone is
Turkey and provolone? Yeah. See, I like the Italian meat. It's a little spicy.
Yeah.
You know, that's
my wife's a big fan of the Italian.
That or like a buffalo chicken.
Buffalo chicken's
like
good.
Any sort of like buffalo.
I mean, it's hard to beat a Philly cheesesteak, like a good Philly cheesesteak, if you're counting that.
It's just a little.
Yeah, right. But it's just like if I had to have just one. But every day, like if I'm eating it consistently, like a turkey sub, like a cold,
good cold cut.
Good cold cut, yeah.
Nice. Well, that's going to make me hungry. I'm not going to be thinking about that for the rest of the show. Luckett, we had some unexpected news to start the day. Bright and early. See, your new morning workout routine, I think it's getting the news cycle going faster. Because Luckett, he's up at 5 a.m. working out.
That's right.
And he gets that cup of coffee, and he's like, boom.
I've had 2 cups of coffee by the time the rest of y'all wake up.
And he's already got news on his plate. And this morning, Pete Thamel and all the other insiders from the College Football World reported that Alex Brown is joining the Kentucky football front office, filling the vacancy left by Pat Biondo. Pete Nocta gets a promotion. He's the full-time GM. Well, they needed an assistant GM, and they went out and they got Alex Brown, who, you were able to, you had that coffee and you were ready to roll, so you were able to dive into his resume. And it's an interesting resume because it seems like he's kind of touched them all, from college to pro, the actual working side of being with teams, and then also the media side of it. So he's done a little bit of everything.
Right. He might be one of us, Nick Roush. Up close in personnel. with Alex Brown. He has a podcast.
With personnel in it. So do we need to send him a cease and desist? Like, sorry, we got all the personnel podcasts.
Right, it's either they're going to start an 11-personnel rival over there in the football building. I don't think so, but he actually, in front of his first episodes, Kentucky wide receivers coach Joe Price.
Oh, Eastside Joe.
Joe Price got his start. He was a high school coach.
Correct.
In Houston. Mm-hmm. He went to Illinois to work in their personnel department a while ago, like 5 years ago, before he went to UTSA.
I think it was pre-COVID.
UTSA and teamed up with Will Stein and all the UTSA guys that are on the Kentucky staff now. But yeah, he got his start really in media, was a volunteer assistant at Houston when they had Tom Herman. Like Ed Oliver days, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like
back when
Ed Oliver days,
Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson.
Right?
Yeah.
Probably even before he probably on the staff that recruited Ed Oliver to get him to Houston.
What was the controversy with the coat in Tom Herman and Ed Oliver? Do you remember that? Like, basically, Ed Oliver wanted to wear a coat on the sideline.
That was Major Applewhite after Tom Herman left.
Aha! I remember some of this stuff.
Major Applewhite comes to Kroger Field week 4 this year with South Alabama. But it all comes together. Everything just comes together. But basically started from the bottom, really worked his way up the food chain. He was at SMU, got promoted to general manager, left to be the director of player personnel at Ole Miss. And then got
Kiffin portal.
And then got an opportunity last year, was an area scout for the Falcons, was kind of the Mid-South area, like Kentucky, Tennessee, I think Virginia, think that area. He was working as a scout. But Falcons had a coaching change and a GM change. Yeah. Ian Cunningham comes over from the Bears to run the front office. Stefanski comes from the Browns to be their head coach. Matt Ryan's running things for the Dirty Birds.
Is Matt Ryan in charge there?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
He's like the president of operations.
He's the new Grim Reaper. Instead of Arthur Blank coming down to condemn the Falcons to a painful loss, it's going to be Matt Ryan.
So they basically after the draft they
clean house.
They clean house, want to build their own scouting department. So he was kind of out without a job. He's working for the Shrine Bowl. Shrine Bowl's like the Senior Bowl's top rival for players. Now Shrine Bowl's getting a lot more players. He was going to be a scout for the Shrine Bowl,
which I believe the NFL owns, if I'm not mistaken.
Do his podcast, and then this opportunity comes up. So this guy with deep Texas ties, Nick, Tom Herman, is who he got to start under. Now remember, Will Stein was retained by Tom Herman as a quality control coach at Texas when Charlie Strong was fired. So maybe a potential connection there, potentially.
Well, there's also, you got to realize, he's an NFL scout. I mean, Pete Nocton, his old job, he was the NFL liaison. He's dealing with all those.
Brown
NFL
was
scouts.
Coming through probably Kentucky last year to come to practices, right? He was heading over here to watch maybe Seth McGowan, watch Jalen Farmer, some of the guys that got drafted last year.
The interesting thing that I learned shortly after Brown got the job, which you can find on KSR Plus, 75% off fall camp sale, $30 for a year. But Alex Brown, essentially how the NFL works is their front offices, you really have to divide and conquer because they got to have their eyeballs everywhere. So there is a free agency sort of scouting department that is evaluating the other 31 teams. So it's like, do we want to trade for this guy, right? Like if this guy gets waived, do we want to pick him up sort of deal. So that's one side of it. And then the other side of it's the draft. Well, within the draft sort of department, you have guys who are purely focused on who's going to get picked in April of next year. But you also need to be ready for April's down the road, and from my understanding is that Brown was in that underclassmen department. So he would go to all of these schools, get eyes on the underclassmen, get verified measurables, and essentially just
write the early reports of what guys were 300, 400 guys were watching in this next draft class.
Exactly. He did the early evals on draftable players that are underclassmen. Well, now Kentucky's got that. And what does that mean? Some of those guys are probably going to be available in the portal next year. So you've got a real sort of turnkey operation by bringing in Alex Brown, who brings in a wealth of knowledge to the front office. That's a finite resource that you can tap. But I think the best part about this, Luckett, is it's not like you're having some guy come in to start from scratch. He's been in similar situations before. The job that he is being asked to do here was kind of the job he was being asked to do for the Falcons. It's just instead of drafting them, you might be signing them as free agents in December.
Yeah, and one point I want to make known here with the front office, and we have a full rundown of just Kentucky's front office organization right now and kind of breaking down the jobs, who's doing what, now that we know a little bit more about the process. So check that out at KSR Plus. But Nick, Jared McElwain is the director of player personnel. Director of player personnel, think like scouting, building the boards, all of that. He worked at Alabama under Courtney Morgan. Courtney Morgan is, I think, the highest paid general manager, or he's up there, at least. He followed him from Washington and Kalen DeBoer, obviously, Washington, Alabama.
Also going to start with Saban.
Okay, so
Has some hardball experience in there too.
right, from his dad at Michigan. So dad was Jim McElwain, Florida old head coach who coached at Michigan for a time and had maybe a Michigan person on his sidelines at one point at Central Michigan. But that's a story for another day. And then the other side of this is Brown. Nick, who's the portal king last year?
Everybody says Lane Kiffin's the portal
Lane
king.
Kiffin. Ole Miss has been really complimented, or say they're doing a great job in kind of that front office space, the NIL space, all of that. So he gained a year of experience with them at Ole Miss, and now that staff's all at LSU for the most part right now. And also SMU has kind of been this. They've come in and crashed the party, and ACC made the playoff. Mm-hmm. They're doing some, I think, forward-thinking things when it comes to money, compensating the roster, and recruiting ties into all that. So he's worked for two really accomplished, I would say, front office structures. So that's what Kentucky's bringing in here. So again, people wanted them to hire a front office, do the GM thing. They are doing that. They're building out a real front office and a real structure here. And we'll get to see how it plays off years down the road. We won't know right now. But again, on paper, this hire makes a lot of sense to kind of work with Nocta, with McElwain. And Kentucky's got a legitimate, I think, recruiting front office organization right now.
I also find the media experience interesting because that's a part of the equation that happens during the portal that people don't really want to talk about. But a big part of doing well in the portal is what gets out and what doesn't, particularly when it comes to the negotiating side. You got to use the public, the general public information sort of as leverage when there's a lot of ropes being pulled behind that curtain in Oz, and he has expertise in that field. Hopefully that will benefit Kentucky when they're trying to put together a transfer portal class in December. That feels like a long way away. We got a lot of games to go. But Pat Biondo's abrupt departure, that threw a wrinkle in things right before the season starts. And within less than a month, they're able to sort of all right, everything's good to go. Let's focus on the ball. Let's keep people healthy. And let's get the season rolling, which I guess we're going to talk about that a lot today, right? We're in the middle of the dog days of fall camp. I want to share the latest of that and then also get to some players that you need to keep an eye on. But first, I need to tell you about the Cash App. You know the Cash App, right? You probably got it downloaded on your phone. If you don't, get on the App Store, download the Cash App right now, because especially for moms and dads out there, right? You got your teenagers, who knows what they're doing. You want to teach them how to spend their money wisely, how to use it wisely. But this isn't the days of putting money in an envelope and you got your piggy bank bucket, right? You don't just have it lying around. They're using cards. It's cashless society. They're using cards. Well, here's the thing: the Cash App. I gotta tell you about this. The Cash App has a debit card program. Let me get the exact word right. I need the exact verbiage right. It is the Cash App. What's this initiative? I don't know. But the Cash App card. It's teens 13 to 17 with the sponsorship of an eligible parent or guardian. Every transaction, that parent or guardian is going to get a notification. So they're not going to be out spending stuff. Their money's stupid, right? You want to go to the gas station, get something to drink, get a little snack? Okay, but you can't be doing that every day. You need a little bit of oversight to develop good spending habits, and you can do that with the Cash App. You just manage everything directly from your own Cash App account without having to switch between the two. It makes it easy to stay connected. There's no unnecessary surprises with the Cash App, no monthly fees, no minimum balance requirements, and no hidden charges when sending or receiving money. With the Cash App card, your team's balances receive 24/7 fraud monitoring. If the card ever gets lost, you have the ability to lock their card right from your phone in just one tap. So parents, it's time to start focusing on your teens' financial learning and growth instead of stressing about the fine print. If you're ready to give your teen a little more independence while staying in the loop, start by downloading the Cash App and sponsoring their card today. New Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use our code FAMILY10. FAMILY10 is that promo code in their profile at sign up, and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Download the Cash App today and sponsor your teen. Visit our link in the bio for more information. That's download the Cash App, promo code FAMILY10 when you sign up. Cash App is a financial services platform. It's not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Cash App Visa Debit Flex Card issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, and the Bancorp Bank in a pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc. See terms and conditions for the Sutton Prepaid Card, Sutton Debit Flex Card, and Bancorp Debit Flex Card. Savings provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. All right, Luckett. Before we get into just the latest from fall camp, let's get into the meat and potatoes, right? We talk about the Wildcats, but today we're talking about wild cards. Not the dirty birds, the birds with teeth. The wild cards, the sort of guys on this team that the range of possibilities with them it's all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. It's where if everything hits and things go right, the ceiling, tremendous. The floor, you might just never hear from them. And part of the reason we've kind of touched on some of them, but we want to make this nice and succinct so you have your eyes on some players to monitor. And the perfect example of this is when you initially wrote an article about your personal wild cards, one of those players was Antonio Barry, and within 24 hours, he's no longer on the team. So, total wild card.
Wild card for a reason. The variance is wide. And so I wasn't expecting that variance, but it counts the same. So Antonio Barry out, so he's out of the wild cards column. KSR Plus, I've got 9 wild cards. I'll have this linked in the chat if you all want to check it out for those watching on YouTube. And so, yeah, it's these are the guys that, you need your stars to be stars, Nick. Mm-hmm. Everyone, like Kenny Minchey has to be good, right? Lance Hurd needs to be good for Kentucky. Tavian Gatson, Mike Humphrey Grace, Ty Bryant need to be good for Kentucky. Stars need to be stars, but these are the players, too, that can help both affect your floor as a team and also affect your ceiling, I believe. And so these are the guys, I think, with a wide variance where they could potentially become stars, or if you miss on them, like they could be guys you might not be able to count on very much, right? Yeah. So that is the point of this. These are the guys that I think can really change your team on a year-by-year basis, and these are the players this year for the Kentucky Wildcats.
I think a really good example of this is Terhyon Nichols, 4-star cornerback out of Cincinnati, Withrow. Mm-hmm. That was a big recruiting win for Kentucky at the time. And Nichols, Lucky, can you remember a guy that coaches liked as much as Terhyon Nichols? Like, were they just it might necessarily be.
That's a great question.
Like because like Nichols feels like the ultimate coach's player, where it's like he's a film room junkie, he's a great leader. Like you use the word gush a lot. Mm-hmm. I like gushers. It sounds a little weird, but they really do gush about Terhyon Nichols, Brad White, Jay Bateman, you name it. Like they love this kid.
Yeah, I would put Sam Green in this too, Bucket.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of some in the past, but like it's hard to have any come to mind. But like Terhyon Nichols
Square.
Square's kind of like that. Yeah, where it's just like he does everything the right way, the way that coaches want. Is a great example for others. And he also he's clearly talented. He's a 4-star player, and we saw some of that flash as a true freshman when he got thrown into the mix down at Ole Miss. Max Harrison has that. I guess it was a staph infection or whatever that put him in the hospital, surprisingly, right before that game. Nichols has to play at Ole Miss, has a big PBU. I think he got hurt in that game as well. Mm-hmm. And that's the sort of where you get to both sides of the coin. So on one side of it is that whenever he's been asked, he's dealt with injuries. He hasn't played a full season. And then last year, the way that they seemingly described is that he got a little overexposed, where they weren't able to rotate a lot of corners. He got put out on an island quite often, and it hurt him. I think the other side of the coin is that if he's the guy that they say he is, well then, if he hits that potential, then you say okay, well they've got one answer at corner,
right?
And that's why I think Nichols is such a huge player for them, because that is the edges of the defense are a question mark. He can provide that answer, or there's a scenario where it's this guy who we really wanted everything to click like this, it didn't line up the way we needed to this year.
And just he's not playing off coverage as much, so how much better is he in when he's playing in tighter spaces.
Or is he worse? You don't know. Right? Like that's like a huge thing that we probably have kind of. You think about how some guys it could benefit. Well, there might be some guys where if they're playing more.
Yeah, and with Terhyon too, Nick, like he's missed like third of each season he's played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's only his third season, but like he's missed significant time. So like C.J. Baxter, Nic Anderson, Aaron Gates, some other players get most of this injury, but Terhyon's like the same type of.
Yes.
Like if Terhyon came from Cincinnati Bearcats, and we saw, well, he's missed all these games, we'd be talking about him in a different, I feel like, light.
But I do think they're like, to go back to the other side of the coin, though, the blue part of the 3D glasses is that this is usually when it clicks for guys.
Right.
Year three, right? Like you would expect a guy who's in the film room quite often, who's got good athletic traits, but just probably needed some time. This is his first fully healthy offseason where he was able to go through spring practice. So if it looks like it could click, but it's not a guarantee. That's why he is a wild card. But I'm buying. I've got some good stock in number 20. Stonks hopefully are going up for Mr. Nichols. Mr. Luckett, who's your first?
Right. One thing with Nichols too, like cornerback is just you feel a lot better about their grip on that position if he's.
That's true.
The guy like they're talking. If he plays like the guy they're talking about, or even plays like 80% of the guy they're talking about. You just feel better about their grip on that position. It feels better.
And, like, they brought in Hassan Sykes from the FCS level. Guy's good. I think. We haven't heard much from him. We saw interception highlight today, though. Like, that was pretty sweet. But you don't really know what he's going to be. He ticks a lot of boxes, but we don't know there. And, heck, there's a guy on your list at cornerback, too. That's got
we can go ahead and get to that guy since we're on the position. We've talked about this guy a lot, but DeMarcus Gardner, second-year player out of Georgia, didn't play last year, took a true like red shirt type season. Mm-hmm. But there's a word again. They gushed about a lot of people have gushed about this kid ever since. I think he's like 6 foot 6'1", long arms, kind of got the build to be kind of a good man coverage corner. They need a cornerback 3. We know Sykes, we know Nichols are going to start, but cornerback 3 to me, Nick, is like RB2. It's like linebacker 3. Mm-hmm. Your third receiver, that guy's going to play and probably going to play a lot. You need him out there.
Tight end too. Yeah.
So it's an important position, and I think Gardner has got a chance to seize this position for Kentucky and potentially be an unexpected hit early in that recruiting class. That 2025 recruiting class for Kentucky can play, potentially be a multi-year starter for you down the road. And again, you're probably going to need him to play some big boy snaps this year. And so Gardner, for me, if he is more if he's close to a hit this year, it doesn't even have to be perfect, but if you can play out there and he can make some plays for you, it's going to be not only a good deal for this team,
but down the road. Yeah. Well, and the other thing with Gardner, too, is it's not just a lot of the times the positive praise we're hearing from him, it's coming from the guys that are going up against him, right? It's usually the receivers who...
Well, even the quarterback. Kenny Minchie.
Yeah, so it means he's got a little playmaking juice in there. Hopefully we see it this fall, because if not, then who is it? That's the question.
Right, like where do you go? Because,
and maybe this falls in like Andrew Purcell's working some at nickel. Mm-hmm. There's some, but... Like Nasir Addison is a good athlete, but we haven't heard much from him. Well, or Grant Grayton maybe.
Isaiah McMillian got sounded like he played a lot in the scrimmage. There was a catch by DJ Miller. He was unfortunate on the other end of that coverage, but
it happens.
The other player in that picture was Ty Bryant. I'm pretty sure Ty Bryant's on the first team. So that McMillian was out there in whatever capacity that was. Oh, so they're giving him a long look. Nick, this kid, we're getting a little deep here. This kid, rule. If Iowa is recruiting a defensive player, I'm probably going to like this player. So this guy picked Kentucky over Iowa and a couple others. So I liked him a lot. He missed his senior year with an injury, but it's a track guy, has some speed, has some size. from Texas. Like, he's a guy I think to watch here moving forward.
Didn't they say he had some connection to Bateman or something like that? Like his dad played together?
His high school coach or something went to high school with Bateman or something along those lines.
Gotcha.
I can't remember what the connection was.
So here's my question to you, Luckett. This is a very serious question that requires a serious answer. If I was to go to the Golden Arches and ask for a McMillion, what are they serving up to me? Because doesn't that sound like something on the menu? Yeah, can I get 2 McMillions?
You're probably getting a quarter pounder with just like expensive cheese on it, so it's McMillions. Are you like the guy from that documentary who stole all that money from playing the McMillions game?
Oh no, I would love to do that though. That's a great movie.
That sounds like a name for that documentary.
I think that was the name for the documentary. I could also see it being something where they put like a different seasoning on the fries that make them look more golden or yellow. So you're gonna get the McMillion fries. Oh man, couldn't tell we're talking around lunchtime. I keep going back to food, but I think we need to put a McMillion, or maybe it also comes like the McMillion meal. So you get the quarter pounder with the fancy cheese, the fries with the glitter, maybe not glitter, but it's got some extra seasoning on it, and then some sort of pie. Do you like the little fried apple pies?
I'm not a fan, but I know a lot of people like them.
They
They got underrated the cookies.
You're with the cookie?
The Happy Meal cookies. You don't like them?
Oh, are they still? They aren't like
not
the
the chocolate chip. I'm talking about the old school.
Yeah, like the wafers.
Yes.
That we would have as kids.
Yes.
Yeah, those were pretty. I could get down with those.
Yeah.
But I did like the apple pie or the cherry pie. Well,
didn't they get rid of the apple pie?
I think we're good. We're back. Okay, good. Well, they went from fried. I always called it a fried apple pie. It was actually baked.
Yes.
It's a fried apple pie. Yeah, come on. And I love that they said that they changed it from fried to baked so it'd be healthier, but the fried actually had fewer grams of fat.
I mean,
than the baked one.
if you're going to McDonald's, like, let's be honest.
Right, like I'm here. It's the same thing when I go to the casino.
The health options.
I know I'm gambling, right? Like I don't. You're taking my money, okay? So like,
I know what I signed up for.
Exactly. And you signed up for more Kentucky football talk. So let's get back into some of our wild card selections. One of them that he's a player we've talked about a lot, and I think it's similar in the vein of DeMarcus Gardner, where it's not just a hit for this year, but for the future. And that's Mikkel Skinner, the talented tight end who was in the same recruiting class with DeMarcus Gardner, exceptional athlete from South Carolina. What I learned about him, Luckett, is that he actually might have the most athletic family. The Mannings get a lot of hype. Let me just go through this list here. His aunt played in the WNBA, two-time national champion at UConn, did not lose a basketball game in her final 2 years of college.
Sounds good.
Not one single game, was all Big East. So, I mean, I just can't imagine not losing a game your final 2 years of college. Then goes to the WNBA, plays for 5 years, wins a title, and is like, all right, I'm good. I'm good. I'll hang it up with this. True champion. But then, this is where it gets even more interesting. His cousin, and the name escapes me. His last name's Hamilton, though. Georgia Tech quarterback in '99.
Joe Hamilton.
Joe Hamilton wins the Davey O'Brien Award, which it's so hard to just think of like a Georgia Tech quarterback being the best quarterback in the country.
Right before they hired Paul Johnson.
Yeah. But also, like, when you could have been a triple option guy and still been the best quarterback, but he was the number one quarterback in the country, came in second to Heisman voting to Ron Dane. So, okay, that's pretty good. Well, his other cousin, he was in the same class. He went to Penn State. Courtney Brown was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year at Penn State, and also the number one draft pick right after Tim Couch.
Played against, it was on that Outback Bowl team Kentucky played.
Bastard. But that's the family. That's the family tree that Mikkel Brown comes from. He's one of those guys who played quarterback, everything, and was like best athlete. Just go do whatever you can for us. And last year he redshirts. This was a real, like, he kind of fell into Vince Marrow's lap a little bit because Vince was recruiting the kid from Glenville. Was he the Glenville kid, the white kid that went to Ohio State?
Yes, Brody Skinner, not Brody something. What was his name?
I know, it's going to bug me. But Vince was kind of all in on this kid from Ohio, but he camps at Ohio State, gets the offer, ends up going to Ohio State. Brody Lennon. Is that right?
That sounds right. I'm pulling it up in the class right now.
And you're looking to pivot. Well, they end up finding Skinner.
Brody Lennon.
Skinner ends up being the highest ranked player in that class. Gets to UK, but he needs to eat some meat and taters, right? He did that last year. you look at him now, and he is just, I mean, he's a freak, right? Like, we always joke, like, some of those guys in the tight end room, they're a couple ham sandwiches away from being offensive tackles. He needed those ham sandwiches to look less like a receiver and more like a tight end. Well, he does now, and he really adds that hybrid type. I don't want to compare him to Isaiah Cummings because I think he's just a much better athlete, more physically gifted. But if you remember, they had all those injuries. They moved Cummings down to tight end during Liam Cohen's year, and Cohen just gets mismatches where Cummings, I don't know, what did he catch, 12, 15 passes that year for a couple hundred yards? Like, it wasn't the most productive player, but he made big plays in big moments. Skinner, Willie Rodriguez is going to take up a lot of the oxygen in that room, right? He just is. Henry Boyer, they're calling this guy a pro. He's like a traditional inline guy. But how can you use Skinner to get 15 or so catches, right? Can you get 8 or so of these to be truly explosive plays that sort of wow you? And then also set the tone to be a bona fide badass next year with Kenny Minchey, because I hate to break it to you all, Willie's probably gone after this year, and Boyer's going to be going to the NFL draft as well. So, like, you're going to need him to be a dude for you next year, and I think he can be one of those guys that surprises you in a couple games this fall.
He's going to be part of the plan, like, just full stop. He's going to be part of the plan. I think a big play action target for Kentucky. They're going to look to ways to get him the football, and you're right. Like, the hope is, like, it goes something similar, I think, to what Jamar Johnson's year last year was at Oregon. Like, slowly acclimating. By the time the end of the season came, he was one of their better targets, and now he's one of the guys on the Oregon offense heading into this season. So I think for Skinner, you'd probably something similar.
And the other part of having the older guys in the room is it should be a great way to indoctrinate, for the lack of a better term, but to get him on the right path towards success. At least in this case, look at if the wild card, if the red tinted glasses, they don't work out well, you got 2 other pretty good tight ends in that room. So
yeah, absolutely. He is a definite wild card because of that, right? Yeah. And also, can he, like, what shape or direction does this offense go? Does, like, a guy like Henry Boyer become more valuable than maybe a Mikkel Skinner skill set, or vice versa, right? Like, what direction do they go on offense, I think, could determine that.
All right, Luckett. Who you got up next?
Yeah, I'm sticking with pass catchers here. This is the biggest one, Nick, in my opinion, on the whole football team.
Whole football team?
I think so.
Full stop.
Nic Anderson, wide receiver. Oklahoma, LSU. Basically, in 2023, this was one of the best receivers in college football.
He was awesome. And that's not hyperbole. He was.
And he hasn't played since. That's basically where we are at with Nic Anderson. Like, you want to talk about pedigree, Nic Anderson's brother, Rodney Anderson, was the running back on that Baker Mayfield Oklahoma team that lost to Georgia in the Rose Bowl.
Doesn't Rodney Anderson sound like that boy Rodney Anderson? He could really go back.
His brother was awesome. His brother would probably, I think, still be playing in the NFL if he could have stayed healthy. And he just couldn't stay healthy. And then he had another brother who spent some time in the NFL. So he comes from a real athletic family. Katy, Texas, which is like this powerhouse in Greater Houston. He just has not been able to stay on the field. He's had quad injuries. He's had a knee injury. He had a car wreck last summer that kind of took him out of LSU's fall camp. He didn't really practice in fall camp for LSU, and then he comes back and it just didn't go well. But the whole LSU
he got another injury in November.
But Nussmeier was hurt too at LSU. It was just, and then he got another injury on top of that in November, where they thought he might have tore his ACL, but it ended up not being a serious injury. So he had to miss, I think, their last 4 games. But this is a guy, big 6'4" receiver, top end speed, can be that vertical weapon for Kentucky, can be a game breaker for them. But is he healthy? How does it shake out? Didn't play in the spring game. We know he was limited to start fall camp. It sounds like he's still limited right now.
Yeah, and it sounds like they've got him on the sort of bubble wrap plan. I wish I had a better phrase for it, but there are definitely some guys on this roster that they're probably fine, but
it's the football version of load management, right?
Yeah,
it's the football training camp version of load management.
We need you healthy, so you're not going to go 100% during fall camp.
I mean, the wide receiver coach went out and called him a Ferrari this week. Will Stein has said, I think when we asked about him back in January, he's like, he can absolutely go. Like when I was scouting Dylan Gabriel, because Dylan Gabriel was Will Stein's quarterback in 2024, but in 2023, Dylan Gabriel's best receiver at Oklahoma was Nic Anderson. And it was just like, this guy can absolutely go. So it's a guy I think they really, really like. I think they could be like a star. You know, that feed the studs mantra, I think this would be maybe a stud if he is healthy. It's just, can they get him healthy? I think he can be a game changer for you. So wide variance, because we've seen him last year at LSU. He played most of the season. He had like 100-something yards. So it could be a guy that can be anywhere, Nick, I think, from 200 yards to 1,000. There's such a wide window, I think, with him. He is the biggest wild card to me on this Kentucky football team.
Well, in addition to that, too, he's the most experienced player in that room. It's kind of taken on a leadership role. Are we still rolling, Peak? You haven't stopped twitching since you had Ferrari. Are you okay? Is everything okay back there? Ferrari, it's just PTSD. I don't know. He started seeing bombs go off, and it's just. But as somebody pointed out on KS Board, Ferraris aren't the most reliable. They can be a little fickle. So maybe it does fit well, but that. It does give you, like, if he can be it, that's another one. Like, if he can give you an answer, that's just, you exhale a little bit more.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a true number one, and I think the pieces fall into place after that.
Yeah.
Right? You know, maybe DJ Miller can be that. We don't know. He's got to go out and prove it. But, hey, you get Anderson, and then you get Miller, and then you, like, Shane Carr with them. That is a legit trio to me.
Yeah.
But do you get that? Yeah. We're about to find out.
Exactly. It's a risk they had to take in the portal. One player who they did not get from the portal that got another lofty comp that we discussed previously, but CJ Works. I know, we talked to Sam Green yesterday at preseason practice. He got the Cassius Howe comp from Jay Bateman.
Strong comp.
Which
SEC Defensive Player of the Year, the best pass rusher probably in college football last year.
I do wonder how much of it is just, we want you to aspire to be this. So, like, here. Like, how much of that is motivational, right? Because they are kind of throwing around all willy-billy. But the difference between Sam Green and CJ Works is that, like, Sam Green is 6'2". He's a little on the undersized, whereas, like, CJ Works looks like an NFL draft pick. You know what I mean? And so, how much can you get out of him this fall from that position? A position where there are a lot of question marks.
Yeah, I will say this about the Hal comp. Like, Hal is this bendy, twitchy edge rusher. Like, can turn the corner fast, but he's also like, I'll run through an MS face, right? And that's Sam Green does that too. Like, he's got that power, that strong to set a hard edge and to really be a key cog in your run defense and be like, you're not blocking me. Like, we're going backwards. You're going to have to go around me. You're not going through me or going inside of me. And so I think from that aspect, he's got some of that, I think, that tough ruggedness that I think Hal has as a player. Like, Green's obviously, I think, bigger and more stout, where Hal is more a slighter frame.
Yeah.
But
well, so let me
two different. But the pass rushing, I don't know if Sam Green and Cassius Hal, this defense is going to be pretty damn good. I got a feeling.
So let me ask you, like, it more likely to meet their comp, CJ Works and Josh Allen, or Sam Green, Cassius Hal? Because you got to think, it also is a long term. We want to clip this for 2 years.
I mean, you're talking about two SEC Defensive Player of the Years. You're talking about two All-Americans in college football. So I think we should just stick to this in college. We don't know what Hal's going to be in the NFL yet. We know what Josh Allen is.
Well, he plays for the Bengals, so he's probably not going to be that good.
Okay, here we go. Here's the thing: the college, I don't know. I wouldn't predict any of them to be SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I think Works has got more upside.
Yeah.
So he would, and he's not coming off a major injury.
That's true. But this is the part where we say that Green. It feels like Green is on the plan. We need a name for this plan.
Regardless, Green being back is huge for Kentucky's run defense. Huge. That's one big question I think a lot of people have is run defense. I think they need him on the field for run defense. He's one of their best run defenders.
Sets the hard edge.
Yeah. So having him just for that is going to be a big deal.
He said he's got one final test to pass before he can get 100% green light. And in all indications are that he'll be ready to roll whenever Youngstown State comes to town September 5th. So that was a bit of good news that we did receive from fall camp earlier this week. You got some more wild cards for us, Luckett, but
I do.
Good looking shirt.
You like that?
We didn't plan this at all, but there are a lot.
We're just already in football brain. We're just
Exactly.
everything's working. We're just step by step.
We got our robot gear on. We're ready to go. We're ready for game day. Make sure you're game day ready. Check out their collection. KS Sports is that promo code that gets you 20% off at checkout. Robot gear, it's the best gear. Breathes good. It's got a nice collar. I like the Blitz Tech tees.
They're roll.
The Blitz like ultimate fat guy shirt. South End Josh was like, Roush, you're not fat. Trust me, I've had my fat days. I've talked to other fellow fat guys. It's the best fat guy shirt. Like they're the best. So use that promo code wisely. Gear up for game day with Roback this fall. Look it. Next wild card. Who you got?
Second biggest wild card on this football team.
I would. This is my pick for number one wild card, by the way, because I mean, if this guy's a 1,200-yard rusher, like it's a pretty good looking offense.
Well, we're going somewhere else here.
Well, you're right. Not C.J. Baxter.
Well,
He's not the number 10. I think he is the wildest card because, like, what? I mean, there is a real scenario where he just like plays a game that, like, we don't want to talk about, but like that could happen, judging off of just the last 2 years. But there's a real scenario too where this guy, like, you see C.J. Baxter, like that's a guy, and on top of it all, like he is this sort of. He's a guy that I think players can really rally behind too. Very well spoken. And like, it would really help our fan base too if there is a guy that's cut from the same cloth of the last few running backs. You could see him having a sort of Ray Davis-esque year where it's like right at 1,000 yards, but also.
if it all came together, yeah.
That's so like having that pie in the sky is not crazy, but it's also not crazy to expect absolutely nothing from him. That's why I think he's the wildest card on the team, but you don't think he's the biggest wild card, do you?
C.J. Baxter is huge because they need him to be RB1, and he's got the highest ceiling in that running back room. And he can catch the football out of the backfield, so that Ray Davis thing, like you talked about, that could be an added element of the offense that they're going to have. He is important, but it doesn't matter unless this offensive line comes together.
Okay.
I think this offensive line, like some of the talk we're hearing, Nick, like one of the best in the SEC, as good as my Oregon offensive lines, all of this, that only happens if this guy hits this year. And it doesn't mean he has to be an All-American or All-SEC player. He just needs to be a quality starting right tackle, and it can unlock this offensive line's potential. That's Malachi Wood.
Mad Central.
We saw Malachi Wood in 2024. It did not go well.
Nope.
It was a struggle for him.
Shout out Gerald Mitzi.
Yeah,
Thanks for that, brother.
There was a lot of problems.
Hope you enjoyed that hot dog.
There were a lot of problems with that football team at that point, but it was the right tackle play. It was tough for him out there as a redshirt freshman. Didn't really play much last year outside of like being the 6 offensive linemen in goal line packages. Mm-hmm. So now we're seeing him, and it basically sounds like, Nick, they brought in Mark Robinson, I thought, to be that starting right tackle from the portal, and Wood beat him quickly and decisively, I think, in a position battle. Like, there's no doubt who the tackle is. So for Wood, we know what he was. Like, he was a project coming out of Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got these physical traits that if it all came together and he built his body, like, you could see him, like, getting drafted and getting a chance to play tackle in the NFL. Is that ready to come together now? Because if it is, Nick, this is the missing piece to me of the offensive line. Because you know what Colton Price is, you know what Tegra Shabola is, you know what Lance Hurd is, and Olas is at that other guard spot, but that other guard spot I worry less. Like, you're going to be able to figure that out.
Yeah.
It's the tackle spot. Like, where are you at right tackle? And if Wood is good, not only is the offensive line going to be good, this offense is going to be good, right? They're just going to be good if he hits this year. He's the biggest wild card on this football team, and it's not because he doesn't have to be great, right? He just got to be like a solid starting tackle, and if he is that, I think this offensive line really is going to be the big blue wall.
I'm going down the food pipeline again and just thinking about all the food he ate to like get bulked up. Man, remember when you used to just be able to eat whatever, whenever? It's a good time. To be
Before you needed fat guy shirts.
we're gonna get a true, like Cutter Leftwich. He was on the 24/7's 30 under 30 list. They actually had another guy too, the Gibson, the Nichols coach made it as well. But like Cutter Leftwich is known as being a great just ball coach. How much does that help Malachi Wood?
Right.
I don't know how much it can in 9 months, but it sounds like things have come together.
There's some Wonderkin vibes with Cutter Leftwich.
There is.
So do we see some of that early? And like where we see it, to me, like we know who Price, Shabola, Lance Hurd are as players.
Yeah.
It's these other two.
How much can you elevate those other guys?
These other two, to me, Nick, are eval and development in-house base, right? With Olas, Alinen, and Malachi Wood. You're taking a guy who didn't play last year at all, playing at right tackle. You're taking a guy who played just slightly, and both of them don't have many snaps. Mm-hmm. And you're saying, like, we've got them in our system. We're gonna develop them. They'll be good. And if they hit hits, you should get pretty excited about just this offensive line in general, but the future, what Leftwich could potentially build.
You certainly can. Tristan, if you're Gerald Mincy, what do you get in the concession stand? You a hot pretzel guy, hot dog guy?
Hot dog with relish.
Hot dog with relish. Okay, hot dog with relish. Maybe a little. I do the mustard on mine. Big popcorn guy. Like that's a Roush thing. Whenever my dad would go to high school games, always had to have the little bag of popcorn.
Like the little box.
Or it's like the bag that, like the tall little skinny one. Because it's like good, like nervous sort of eating, just kind of keep you busy. It's because I like bite my fingers and chew. The popcorn, it keeps you busy. We need to get a popcorn machine.
It's great for the kids. You take the kids to the ball game.
Oh yeah, it keeps them
They
busy.
can hold the bucket.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of munch it. It just keeps them busy. It's great.
Man. We did.
If you're trying to get them to calm down, it's a great snack at a ball game or anything you're at like that.
I never thought this day would happen, but went and watched The Odyssey on Friday and didn't get to the bottom of the popcorn bucket in the 3-hour movie. Like, I was like, you know what? I don't need any more. Did do the extra. See, the trick is you do the extra butter when the previews start, and then as the previews are ending, go get a little more butter. Because, you eat it all off the top. You got to double dip on the butter.
Some layer it. Some will layer it for you.
Well, that's when you get the guys who can flip it around.
You got to ask them, and you got to know go to the right one.
Oh, a straw?
Put the butter down into the tub with
You drink the butter with the straw, is what you're saying. Yeah, that's how Malachi Wood packed on the pounds to get ready to play on the big.
That's how you play offensive tackle in that season.
Here's another thing, too. Like, previews, they can be great. Right, I didn't know they're doing.
They're too long in the movie.
They're doing another Meet the Fockers movie, and it looks good. I had no idea. We don't need 30 minutes. Can we cut that in half? Can we do 10 to 15? Like, I get a little, but 30. If I was, my kid would have been ready to go before the movie even started.
Yeah, they're too long. You have to time when you go in the movie, especially when you got the kids. Like, we're taking the kids to see the Paw Patrol movie here soon.
Oh yeah, just 30 minutes late, you're good.
If we go to 6:30, we can't get there at 6:30. We got to get there like 6:45, 6:50.
Yeah.
So you can get them settled, have their snacks, but you want them to still have their snacks when Chase comes on the screen. You don't want them to be done with snacks when Chase is on the screen.
Do you got a favorite Paw Patrol?
I like Rocky. Rocky's my guy.
I like that Rubble is just all about the heavy machinery. You get fired up when you get to bring out the heavy machinery.
Rubble reminds me, you play like offensive guard, offensive tackle in high school. Like,
oh, yeah.
Defensive tackle. He's got big trench energy.
Which, speaking of, Kalen Edwards, something about defensive tackles, man. They're usually the most entertaining conversationalists when we get to hang out with them. Go back to like Dante Rumpf and PC Cobble back in the day, Mr. Cobble. Quinn Bohanna was always fun. Calvin Taylor, I don't know if you remember when Calvin Taylor just started like mouthing off before the Louisville game. It was just like, we're going to kill him.
I do remember that.
So matter of fact. They're so entertaining, and Big K, he is not an exception to that. He was a lot of fun to talk to yesterday. And I part of the reason why I did want to bring it up is actually from a schematic standpoint, because he was like, I want somebody to be real with me. Like, if I'm too fat, tell me I'm too fat. So, that's Amar Stewart. It's like, you got to get your body moving. And that's, I think, the key. Like, we haven't learned a lot about how the fronts will look, and it's very in the weeds, but, like, a lot of times they were just shading the center and playing straight up nose 3-4. That sucks. Like, just from a purely what you're asking them to do is very difficult. Deion Walker had to do it for a long time. It's hard to get much production at all out of the position because you're just like, eat double teams. Well, now it's going to be looking more like a traditional 4-3 front, where instead of a shade, you're probably more lined up on a 1 technique on the inside shoulder of the offensive guard. So you're going to get some doubles, but he's like, it's a lot less. I'm not just bashing my head against Colton Price, like I was bashing my head against Jagger all year last year. And the movement aspect of it. Like I get the sense sometimes they're going to be slanting themselves away from the play and it's just going to be a total bust. But other times it's going to be a 4-yard tackle for loss, and they're going to be hitting them before the ball's being
They're playing a lot less two-gap. I mean, they were a lot of two-gap where basically it's like, hold your man, hold the block.
Let the linebacker go make the tackle.
Well, look on both, like you're trying to play both sides, right, like this, where they're not playing more downhill one gap, where it basically means, all right, you got this gap right here, you're going downhill in this gap. So it allows you to play more downhill where you can attack a block more instead of fight the block.
Right. Instead of just trying to get to a stalemate and then make a move.
So, but if they knock you off a gap,
then
you don't have, because
you get popped off.
Well, you can get gashed more in the run game. So, like to your point, there's going to be more probably of that where they're maybe not be as efficient against the run, but then they're going to create more second and third and longs.
And the other thing he mentioned too was just that we're sort of the first down guys, and then you can bring in the edges for the later downs. I love the like they used to call it the magic package when you'd bring in souls and some of those other guys. They'd kind of move guys around and have pass rushers in interior spots. Fascinated how much we'll see that in the Youngstown State game. That's going to be
Well, I think that's like kind of where you'll see Ahmad Bro.
Yeah.
Like kind of playing defensive tackle some. Maybe even McQueese Humphrey Grace slide inside. We know Tavian Gadsden's going to be in there inside. So very interested to see how they use that and how they use these edge players kind of together. Works, Cowan and Green.
I'm excited. I'm fired up. Lucky, do we have any more wild cards that we didn't get to before we get out of here at?
Yeah, I got one more. Just Aaron Gates. The nickel. Jay Bateman's talked about the nickel. Basically,
Star's got to be the star.
I think he can be kind of an all-SEC player and turn into a draft pick, one of these defense's better players, but he's had a hard time staying healthy. But if he stays healthy, I think, because it adds to that secondary, Nick, potentially with Terhyon Nichols, but we already know Ty Bryant, Jordan Castell, I think they would feel really, really good about their secondary if Gates is out there on the field the whole time. And what happens if he can't play? What do you have behind him? I think is a huge question mark.
Big question.
So, and pretty much Bateman said it. He's like, I don't even want to think about that. If he's not obviously you want death, but I don't even want to think about that.
Exactly. So, and that's another guy I know we've mentioned it previously. The folks down in Florida, gushers for Aaron Gates. I have a lot of respect for him. Exceptional athlete who just haven't been able to stay healthy. So hopefully he can this year, and we can see him run around on the field this fall at Kroger Field. 17 days away, Luckett.
Be here before you know it.
We'll get one more scrimmage on Saturday. The sun really sucked it out of him.
You basically got 1 gallon of milk to get through. Like that gallon of milk could probably expire by the time game day will be here.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to check. Yeah, we gotta be getting close to the expiration dates. It's gonna be here before you know it. I know that this is kind of the long haul. This is the part you either push through the wall or you get hit by the wall. I clearly hit by the wall, right?
The wall hit back this time.
It hit back hard, but that. Stalemates happen in practice. It's all about pushing through. Maybe not fighting the way that the Cowboys and the Saints fought, which Steichreiner, is that his name? That did the suplex? Did you see that?
I didn't, but are you talking about the kid from Michigan, the tight end?
It's Jacksonville State. I don't know if
I didn't see
Michigan
that
or something. But yeah,
they had a tight end. The Cowboys have a tight end from Michigan. It's got a weird last name. That's what I thought you were going for there.
Well, he might have.
I just saw Eric McCoy out there throwing hands.
Well, this dude's dad was a WWE guy, and he's out there suplexing fools. I mean, I love a good because I still will talk to my friends about the fights that we got in practice, and that was a good practice when you're getting so competitive that you're smacking each other in the face, right? So there's a good amount of that. You just don't want to cross that line to where people get hurt.
They get crazy in the NFL,
especially the joint practices. Yeah,
joint practices.
They throw some serious hands. So we got any preseason games coming up?
I know Bengals Bears are on Saturday. They got a joint practice tomorrow. That's always interesting to me that they have the joint practice. They'll have some fights and they'll go play a game 2 days later.
Oh man, I'm fired up football. It's so close. We can almost taste it. We can almost taste our lunch too. We're going to go grab some. We're happy that we got to hang out today at Monticello Bank here at the Beaumont Center. Before we leave Monticello Bank, Luckett, Cat's going to be hosting up a trophy at all this year? Any trophy games?
We got the Governor's Cup.
Maybe a bowl game?
Maybe a bowl game.
Think we're going to be bringing some hardware?
Are you going to make a mock beer barrel for you and Cousin Shane to trade back and forth?
Maybe so. We got preseason predictions coming out soon. I don't know about the Governor's Cup, but I think we might have a little bowling in our future. You know, just saying.
I'll keep an eye out for it.
Just keep an eye out for it. The good eye, not the bad eye. Keep a good eye out for it. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with y'all today here at Monticello Bank. Shout out to Monticello Bank, proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel. NBCbank.com, that's where you find them on the internet, but you can find them at a location near you. For Adam Luckett, I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats and go Kroger.